Corona Diary. So it's been a few days and I'm really sorry if you're somebody that's been watching this every day and been worried. I have actually been very unwell. I've had a lot of issues with my body temperature and I've had a bit of a cold, and if you didn't already know, I have B12 deficiency and unfortunately I've been quite unwell with it. So I'm at the point where I usually would have had an injection. I have an injection every 10 weeks. And so my surgery have stated they're not giving anyone B12 injections currently, that they were going to be trying the tablets. Now the tablets apparently don't always work for everybody. Apparently not everybody's bodies are able to absorb the B12. So I'm currently in the phase where I'm not sure whether it's working or not. I'm still quite ill. So yeah, all I can do is apologise. I feel a bit better today, so I've decided to do a block of films and catch up with this. So I haven't recorded every day for these last few days because I just haven't been well enough. I felt very strongly that it was best to look after myself, and if anyone was going to be watching, they would completely understand, and I could catch up with you and just let you know that I'm okay. So I've got 4 days worth of news. I will work my way through them all. I felt that it was best that I didn't skip it, so that I didn't skip any information that I might want to see later on, that I might want to look back on. So yeah, as I pointed out, I haven't pre-recorded any of this, so it is going to be me flicking through all of the pieces of paper of all of my notes and just recording it. So if you'd like to see all of the news and everything that's been going on for me over the last 4 days, please do keep watching. I do hope that you've all been keeping well. It has been odd not filming these videos, and I was quite keen to get back to it as soon as I could. So let's start off with the first one. So here we go. I will just insert below each day when, or I will transition this video so that you know that I've moved on from one day to the next and what day I'm actually on. So today's so this was the day where the nurse actually rung about my B12 and explained that they are not currently doing injections, so will prescribe me some B12 tablets to try. Apparently some people don't absorb the tablets, but I'm hoping in 3 weeks I'll be okay. They said that it's going to take about 3 weeks to notice any difference, so fingers crossed I will start to improve soon. I really do hope so. Unfortunately, what it started to do to me, and what it does do to me, is I start having issues with constipation. I start having palpitations, my hair falls out, my nails get brittle and peel, I become weaker, I'm very, very tired. It's just an awful experience, and this time seems worse than other times. So it can vary, sometimes are worse than others. This time it's quite bad. So I've been ill as well as being poorly because of the B12 as well. So I've not been very good at all, really, if I'm being completely honest with you. And this particular day, a giant Connect 4 for the garden arrived for the children. So I ordered it from Smith's Toys and it's absolutely huge. It's nearly as tall as my 5-year-old, and they've had a whale of a time playing with it. It's been something to get them out in the fresh air, out into the garden, because my children love being outside, so I thought I'd encourage them to be busy doing something they enjoy in the garden. Also, I had an amazing group call with some ladies that I get along with from YouTube. That really did raise my spirits, and I was so much happier that particular day. I had an amazing day. That call really did bring a smile to my face. Emotionally, I was a bit of a wreck afterwards, but it was good. It was all good, and I was really appreciative of the ladies. So at that particular point, the death toll stood at 6,159, and we're going to get into the news. So the Foreign Secretary said he is confident the Prime Minister will pull through after he was put into intensive care on Monday. Chris Whitty admitted the UK had a lot to learn from Germany's coronavirus response. A mother of 5 was a respected counsellor, has died after contracting coronavirus during a trip to Pakistan, and she was 39 years old, and that really hit a nerve. I have 5 children too, and I can't begin to imagine what the family are going through right now. That it doesn't bear thinking about. The current holder of the Miss England title has set aside her crown so she can return to her job as a doctor during the coronavirus crisis, which was quite amazing. The armed forces' response to the coronavirus crisis is rapidly expanding, with the Ministry of Defence revealing more than 2,680 personnel. They are already deployed around the country, which is great, but I do feel there needs to be more. Personally, that's just a personal opinion, so we can all have different opinions here, so there's no need for anyone to be upset with each other just because we share different thoughts. You know, we're all entitled to be different and think different ways and see things in a different light. Lastly, a man attacked 3 police officers and a police dog after being asked if his journey was essential during the coronavirus lockdown. In what has been called a truly horrifying incident, he used a plank of wood with nails in it, and he was 29 years of age. Absolutely disgusting. I hope that he's got a sentence for that, I really do. Next day. The death toll stood at 7,097. So that particular day, I woke up with a cold, a headache and a temperature. Next door decided to paint around the windows, and I had a ladder up against my window outside, which wasn't too pleasant because I wasn't feeling well, and it's the last thing you want when you're trying to rest in a room and you've got someone banging around up against the wall right outside your window. There was nowhere else for me to go because I'm isolated from the rest of the family, so it was challenging and it wasn't great, but I got through it. I saw that Boris Johnson was making an improvement and sitting up in bed. A temporary mortuary at Birmingham Airport to help cope with the increase in deaths during the COVID-19 outbreak has already begun storing bodies despite not being finished yet. They must be pretty desperate for space, unfortunately. That's not great. 7 residents at a care home in East London have died after contracting the virus. It's not nice. I don't like seeing news like this. An NHS nurse who died after contracting coronavirus loved the health service and her job as it was her life, according to her daughter. Alice Kit Tang Ong, 70, had worked for the health service for 44 years after coming to the UK from Hong Kong. Amazing woman. Amazing woman. Her life was about the NHS. So, yeah. A new coronavirus testing laboratory will be established at Cambridge University, but it might not be fully up and running until May. We can't afford to be waiting and waiting. So please don't think that I don't see the amount of work that's involved. It's just that with the current crisis, you can't help but see that things need to be faster, really. But they're doing their best they can, and we do need to appreciate it. UK scientists say the coronavirus is hit and run and not as well shielded from the immune system as some others, meaning it could be easier to develop a vaccine. So I suppose that's a positive. Police are searching for 2 men who licked their hands in supermarkets and wiped them over meat, fresh food and fridge handles. They are such sick people, and I'm not going to say any more because this video could turn into one massive rant. Wales extends lockdown as Minister says UK is not ready to relax restrictions, which I could quite see at the time. A group of 20 to 30 men gathered to play cricket in a park in northwest London despite rules about social distancing and gatherings of people during the coronavirus pandemic. They ran away when police officers approached them. Once again, where's the fine? Where's the conviction? Because it needs to happen, unfortunately. People are just not listening. So many people are so selfish and intent on having fun. And lastly, an elderly woman aged 84, forced to eat out of her rubbish bin, has been rescued by police after she became trapped in her home and her food delivery was stolen. Now, what happened here was people delivered her some food and she couldn't find her key. And when she did find that key, the food had been stolen. Someone had stolen it, and then she had to contact the police. She had to eat out of her bin because of these selfish people. Annoying, upsetting, and it makes me angry. Sick people, and I'm not going to swear. It really winds me up. Next day, the death toll stood at 7,978. This particular day, I had a cry as things started to feel tough. things got on top of me and I just broke down that particular day. I was a bit of a state. I did cry. I saw that Boris Johnson moved out of intensive care but remained in hospital, which is a good sign. It's good to see that he was coming out of intensive care. I was really pleased. Dominic Raab has said the UK must keep going with lockdown measures, as he warned against giving coronavirus a second chance to kill more people. He suggested social distancing will have to stay in place until there was evidence that clearly shows we've moved beyond the peak, which is totally understandable. There's nothing more than what I expected. So I think if you've got an ounce of common sense, then you'd know that anyway. I didn't really need to be told that. Cadbury workers use chocolate machines to make visors for the NHS. Not really sure how that works, but interesting. Police in Greater Manchester say they were called to 494 house parties in 4 days as people continue to flout the coronavirus lockdown. Please stop it. If you're one of them people, just don't do it. It's not fair on people. We want it to stop. There are sick people that need it to stop. It's not funny. Don't do it, please. A doctor diagnosed with coronavirus had died 3 weeks after he warned the Prime Minister that health workers urgently needed more PPE, which is personal protective equipment. That is another sad loss, a very, very sad loss. I wish that hadn't have happened, and I'm sure many others didn't, and my heart goes out to the family of that person as well. And lastly, the department store Debenhams has formally confirmed that it has entered administration for the second time in the past year. I knew it was coming, unfortunately. I don't think they're actually going to survive it this time, unfortunately, so there you go. Last day. Boris Johnson is able to walk again after he was moved back from intensive care to a hospital ward, Downing Street says, so that's amazing news. So I'm glad that he's getting better. To see anyone come through this and be okay is just incredible. It just goes to show how amazing NHS are. The number of people worldwide who have died after testing positive for coronavirus has passed 100,000 now. Yeah. Another 980 patients have died in the UK after contracting coronavirus, surpassing Spain and Italy's worst recorded daily totals. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Yeah. Liverpool legend Sir Kenny Dalglish has tested positive for coronavirus in hospital. His family have said, so yeah, I hope he recovers soon. A 101-year-old man gave a double thumbs up alongside nurses as he left hospital after beating the coronavirus, which is incredible. Really amazing. Coronavirus lingers in air longer than previously thought, scientists have warned. Apparently it can stay in the air for several minutes, which is interesting. A London council has been criticised for taping off its benches at Clapham Common during the coronavirus lockdown. What they've done is they've taped up all of the benches, and my argument will be the same argument as people that are local. What about the vulnerable people and the elderly people that are trying to get the exercise that their bodies actually need? So me, for example, when I'm having a bad day, I'd need to stop and sit. And if I wanted to go out to help my diabetes, if my sugar levels were high, that means I can't sit down. So for anyone that's got health conditions or elderly, they're making it increasingly harder to be able to go outside. I don't agree with it. I really don't. You can't tape them off. You can tell people, and you can have police patrolling, making sure that the right people are using it, but to tape them off and stop the elderly and vulnerable from being able to have a rest when they're trying to look after themselves, when they're not actually flouting the rules, it makes me angry, because it's the people that are flouting the rules that are making this happen, and it's not acceptable. It's really not. So guys, that's me all caught up with my corona news. I'm sorry that it's taken so long, but I can now look back on all of this news still. I felt that it was still worthwhile putting it up because, like I say, this is about our memories as a family. And yeah, everyone else has been okay. It's just me that's been poorly. Everyone's doing fine. The shops seem to be getting better. My partner's managed to get more in. So we're actually okay for the moment, which is amazing. So yeah. So please do let me know how you've all been over the last few days. I do hope that you're all well, that your families are well, that your friends are well, colleagues. Thank you Personally, from the bottom of my heart, if you are someone that's watching me that is helping the community in whatever way it is, I truly appreciate every last person and everything they're doing. So thank you to you all. You're amazing. To everyone watching, please take care of yourselves, stay safe, be healthy, and I will see you all again tomorrow with the next update. Bye everyone.